Good morning to each and every single one of you. As you can see, I'm out on the road, um, racking up the last couple of kilometers to be able to complete my 200 for the week. Some might say that it's a little bit of a stubborn thing to do, but as content creators, we sometimes do need to be really stubborn and single-mindedly focused on what we're doing, because especially when we're starting out with a new blog, or for that matter, a new YouTube channel, we are pumping content out into what seems like a vacuum. Nobody's watching our content, nobody's reading our blog, and yet we still need to maintain the focus and keep pushing ourselves to be putting out the content, because the audience will eventually come. So this monument over here, I can in a way say, is a monument to all of us content creators, and reminding us that we need to have the single-minded focus of a mule carrying our heavy load to be able to get through our working day and push out the content that we need to, that's going to be bringing the results in the future. I'm on my way further up the hill in that direction to complete my 200 kilometers for the week, and then barreling back down, back into office, where I'll be pumping out content with single-minded focus, like my friend over here is telling me to do. Speak to you later. There we go, a quick update from the village of Pompanero. Stopping here for a nice big coffee before filling up some water bottles, setting up the GoPro camera, and barreling back down the mountain. Pompanero, one of the famous white villages of the Alpujarra, and incredibly beautiful around here. As you can hear in the background, the birds are twittering, and it is just generally stunning up here. And behind me, yes, I've even got their pride flag still up, even though we are already into the month of July. Anyway, let me finish my coffee, fill up water at the fountain that's just behind me over there. I don't know if you can see my bike parked next to the fountain in the background, but fill up my water bottles there, set up the GoPro, barrel on the mountain, and maybe I'll have some decent GoPro footage for you by the time I get back down the mountain again. Speak to you then. Cheers. Good afternoon, and I am back, showered, dressed, and ready for action as far as my content creation is concerned, just to bring you up to speed as far as what's been happening. As you can see, the sun's coming in from the side. As soon as I finished running this video, I'm definitely closing the curtains there to try and keep the heat out. It's probably going to be nudging up north of about 110 degrees today. So I'm super glad that I got the bike ride in earlier this morning when it was a mere 93, 94 degrees. As far as content creation is concerned, according to the target that I've got to be able to hit my 75,000 words of content by the end of the month of July, I've got to hit 2,179 words of content, which I should be able to manage with relative ease during the course of this afternoon. Today, with the one blog, What's It World Paddle Insider, there's a major international tournament in Valencia that finishes today, so I've got to do some database updates there and get the ranking list, the new ranking list for international paddle published literally during the course of this afternoon, which will mean that I will still be 48 hours ahead of the official international organization releasing their ranking list, which means that World Paddle Insider stays consistently ahead of the official website of International Professional Paddle, which is what I've been doing for the last 2.5 years, and it's brought me masses of traffic. So if you on your blog, if you've got something, if it's in a sporting type of line like this, and there's something that you can bring out an update on a news type of fashion where you've got effectively the scoop and you're coming out, like in my case, 48 hours ahead of everybody else with the news, you can utilize that freshness of that block of news to bring in so much more traffic into your website. Then, as you would have noticed where I was recording this morning, the single-minded, dogged determination that's required to be able to grow a blog through that initial ghost down phase is not to be taken for granted. Many of us, myself included, when starting a new blog, it feels completely demotivating to keep pushing, keep pumping out content on a daily basis where you don't see any real feedback coming in. But we need a mule-like focus and determination to get that to happen. Then what's going to be happening now, as it's coming up towards 2:30, I'm going to start the process of cooking my lunch, and this so that I can have my lunch a little bit later. My experiment of intermittent fasting combined with massive amount of cardio workouts. Today, Sunday, is the final day of that experiment, which means that from tomorrow I can return to having some breakfast in the morning, fuel my brain, which will at least help me to be feeling somewhat sharper when it comes to creating content in the morning. If you'll notice over the past couple of weeks, my content creation, my writing work has been mainly in the afternoon. That's simply because after my cardio in the morning and in this fasted state, I've been just in too much of a brain fog in the morning to be able to concentrate on putting out content. Speaking about content, today is going to be slightly different as well. Besides the written content, that's 2,000 words worth of content, the updating the database from the paddle tournament, I have in mind to be releasing an additional 2 videos today on this very channel. So keep an eye out for those. It'll be something slightly different, but I'll do my level best to bring it in within the context of content creation. So keep an eye out for those 2 videos and let me know what you think of them. But now, let me get some calories in my body so that I've got enough brain fuel to be able to attack the content that I'm needing to be creating over the course of the rest of this afternoon. I'll speak to you probably a good few hours later once I've got a substantial amount of content in the bag and we can recap as far as what today looks like. Till then, cheers. And a good evening to you. The time has just gone 10 p.m. and it's been a relatively productive day. That database update that I was needing to do for World Paddle Insider, that got knocked off. The 2 videos on this channel that will be there for you to have a look at by the time this is already published, those have already been recorded, edited, uploaded and published as extra two videos, so they're there for you already as well. As I mentioned, there was a 2,179 word target for today. I've got 1,389 words of those completed, but what's going to be coming up next will be the editing of this video, and then while this video is busy doing its rendering and its uploading and all of that type of thing, I'm going to get stuck into a couple more words of content production, so which means that I'll easily be able to get the 800 words of content that I still need to put together to hit my target. So I'll definitely be hitting the target before I wrap up for the evening, and that will be happening during the time that this video is either rendering or uploading. So from that point of view, that target will most definitely be hit. As I mentioned, 10 o'clock in the evening, it's getting fairly late, but I've gotten those other major chunks of content behind me, and now it's just going to be this last push, and then probably the next time I chat to you will be during the course of my bike ride tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure how far or where I'm going to be going as yet. Depends largely on how my legs are feeling, because they've been two fairly climb heavy days in a row of cycling that I've done. But luckily, tomorrow morning, the intermittent fasting experiment and data collection for that blog post, that's now complete, which means that I'll be able to have breakfast tomorrow and have a far sharper brain to be able to get into content production way earlier in the day than what I have been able to do over the past 3 weeks. Anyway, so with that being said, you guys have a super awesome day. Be productive, smash out the content on your side, and let me know how you coping with your content production. One thing that I was wanting to mention, I remember now, is relating to the first video that I shot this morning, where I was next to the statue of the mule. Is one of the things that we must look at as far as content creators are concerned, and that is that I think it was the book 12 Rules for Life. There was mention of when it comes to growing and developing as a person, is shouldering a load that is the heaviest that you are able to cope with, and shoulder that load and carry the load, and through that process you become stronger. And that's what we need to be doing as content creators, as bloggers, is take on a task, a goal that stretches us as content creators, because that's how we improve. That's part and parcel of why I took on this challenge of 75,000 words of content for this month of July, simply because I've been able to do 50,000 words of content, so 75,000 words is something that's going to force me to push myself beyond what I've normally been able to do. The multiple time world champion triathlete Daniela Rafe used to say that if it's not hurting, then it's just comfort zone. So with that said, smash out your content, hit your goals, and I'll see you tomorrow.